You're in my world now!
We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. There's lion blood in my chalice, a goat heart in the balance. I speak in italics, discussing these chances. In the Eiffel Tower of Paris, my chariot, the color is metallic. A wonderland to Alice, it's all blunder and malice. Best talent that's combined with magic. Behind the static, there's voices in the shadow. The only choice is battle. Hop into Hellcat and skedaddle. They're watching King Kong climb the Tower of Babel. Ignore every Eve trying to give me an apple. The little rascal that can't be canceled. In the courtyard of my castle, these hens doing nothing but cackle. Now they walking in my chapel with candles that's lit. Definitely with the shits, cause we handle it. Met with the building that is brick by brick. Old Mac, big head, can't tell me shit. Capoeira with the spiral kick, spit hieroglyphs when the tyrants sit at the Coliseum. Whether spies or allies, I know them when I see them. Greet them with an olive branch, that's for the treason. Watch Pocahontas rain dance for the season. Is he still breathing? After the execution, they blame spirits and start the accusing. And then survive every disaster and delusion. Supreme mathematics, the author of confusion. Niggas be cheating and they still losing. Bones in my blank keep me tuned and influenced by the moon sin. A lunatic in a truant skin. A boogeyman with a heart like a ruby gem. A whirlwind I twirl in the middle of tornadoes. Between riddles and fables, keep my Glock on the table. Shot of scotch keeps me stable. Watching divas belly dance with diamonds in their navel. We rode on sound waves that was way before a label. And while you getting hung by the TV cable, I was ready and able. The black amour that raised you from the grave to the cradle. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. Lordy-dotty, we likes to party. I like your pretty face and your thick ass body. What you working out for if you ain't trying to get naughty? And then she finally caught me in the corner of the club, trying to see my diamonds, if they really what it was. This is what it is, bitch, you ain't getting none. This is M.O.B. and I'm just here for some fun. Cause if you fuck with me, you gon' be out here on the run. Then she looking at me, smiling, confused and stunned. I gave her my phone, and she gave me her number. Let her touch on my chrome, let her sit on my leather. Then I took her fine ass home, I'm her midnight lover. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. I call her Cinderella and I call her Snow White, and she's looking for Dracula and don't care if we fight. Only going by her senses cause she knows it feels right. She needs the simulation, she's the lady of the night. Fuck all that waiting, she's about that life. And it's money she's chasing, that's whether wrong or right. You will give her some roses and she will send me a kite. Better break for high stakes so your future is bright. Cause it could be dim and it could be dark. So she walked up to my altar with her soul in her heart. She said, I give these two to you and just don't take them apart. And I will give you everything as soon as I start. Yes! Oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress of black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? Win a little bit of game will make your life better. Yo, what's cracking in this motherfucker, man? The guy 720 back up in this bitch. You know, I missed y'all. Hope y'all missed me too. All of that jazzy stuff. There's been a lot of stuff going on. You know, there's mad reasons why I just played those two tracks, those specific two tracks. The first one, Under a Million Stars, you can catch it on Constantine the Black by This Sign Conquer, that album, which was released in this year, January of this year. And then we have you know, Cinderella's Chance Part 2, which is on the Wired for War album. And everybody out here is wired for war right now. Man, my light is dark in this room. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't like the darkness, my nigga. So I'll put a little light in this motherfucker, see what happens. Hold on. You gotta have some light in the motherfucker, man. I don't like being all up in the goddamn dark. But yeah, the government shut down. I know I did another video last week. It didn't stay up. It said it took about an hour to process. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I just took it down. You know, we here right now. I still got all the sales going. The Kicked Out of Heaven Volume 1, 2, and 3, The Black Man's Bible, The Ethereal Law, Real Nigga Etiquette, Real Nigga Etiquette Voodoo Edition, and the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Money on the Alchemy of Women. The Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women were $100. Y'all go to the website kickedoutofheaven.com and get it right now. Stop with the fucking bullshit. You know, everybody don't know how this white man is truly moving until you understand the medieval times. And if you want to understand the medieval times, you gotta holler at me. And that's just the rules and regulations of the situation right now. You want to understand women, the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women. And we got to talk to the ladies today. It's been a lot of women coming at me lately, and they don't really understand how I move. But when you look at it, you can compare and contrast. I'm a little bit, you know, my shit is a little bit more advanced than yours, darling. You know, and a lot of women don't know how to do compare and contrast, you know, and without them understanding how to compare and contrast, they're not going to really be able to get anywhere in life. A lot of women are very comfortable with what they got and what they understand for their limits, and they're not going to reach for the stars, okay, shall we say. And you know, there needs to be proper advancement instead of staying on the same level. But you know, when you know how to play your level and you can beat your level, people get comfortable with it. You know, I advise you not get comfortable with anything right now. There's no real weight out here in existence that says anything that you deal with or you attain or you put in your life is going to stay there. You know, now when we look at the originality to the situation, you know, humans are supposed to be eating off of, you know, eating fruits off of trees, and the trees stay there. I love to use the analogy that, you know, you can't bear any fruit until you stay still. And it's a crazy analogy I use West. Stop shit. What the fuck is going on? Okay, there we go. Yeah, man, I'm so sorry about this Wi-Fi connection thing. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm definitely gonna have to work on that. But anyways, um, I forgot the point that I was going. Oh yeah, you know, you can't bear fruit until you stay still. And I had developed that analogy, you know, being out here in Vegas, you know, because West Coast people, they like to run around everywhere
and think they getting shit done, and try to pose this picture of damn thing, but sitting at a goddamn barbecue. I ain't never seen so many niggas in my life crying on the motherfucking video online, and children getting kidnapped and don't know where their children located, and trying to get everybody involved into their fucking problem. Like, look, nigga, problems don't produce popularity. You know what I'm saying? Problems will only show to other people that you are inadequate to bring conclusions to your problems. I've had a lot of problems, and I don't get up online exposing no problems of what's going on in my personal life, because it's not really important for anybody to know. You know what I'm saying? If you're still looking for a show at this day and age, and with all the responsibilities that we have proven ourselves to not have paid attention to when it comes to the maintenance of our government and proper decision making with our presidency, we definitely see that there will be consequences for your lack of paying attention to what's important. You see what I'm saying? So definitely shift your gears to from being involved in any type of hearsay or any type of what you want to call rumors or gossip is the word. Me personally, I don't deal with any form of gossip. I don't like gossip. When niggas come around me talking shit about another nigga, I'll be like, hey man, I got dude's homeboy, I got dude's phone number right here. You want to call him? And then them niggas shut up. And like, nigga, you not finna pull me into your bullshit. I'm not on your team, nigga. At a certain age, it's really hard to develop teams. Especially after 30, 35, it get kind of difficult to develop teams when you're dealing with uneducated and inexperienced people. And a lot of people think they're experienced because everybody is going to be experienced because we live day to day, but it all depends on what you're experienced in. And if you're not experienced in elements of growth and getting from one stage to the next stage, then your experience is limited to the level of understanding your financial bracket, you dig. And when your experience is limited, your jargon and your wordplay is going to be limited, and you'll be easily identified. And that's why I cause a lot of, I don't mean to cause hysteria or confusion amongst the people, because I can, use whatever verbiage I need to use pertaining to the environment that I'm in or whatever circumstance, and be successful in that. Nigga, I just read books, and books that anybody could buy for $5, $10. Nigga, I'm selling books that I've written so motherfuckers can accelerate their game. That's what this shit is all about. But when you're dealing with humans, the majority of them don't want their game accelerated. As soon as you approach yourself as some form of teacher or anything of that nature, instead of building with them, which is what I'd like to do. But then that's why I tell people to hit me up and all of this other shit so we can build the pyramid. You dig what I'm saying? And there's situations that come, circumstances that will show themselves in between you two. It's like, okay, we know what to do with this situation. We're practiced for this. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and do it, and boom, we get some money. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't understand how this whole shit works. The majority of people on this planet, the children of the native, they want to do the 2-week training and then go directly in on their little pissant job, and they treat everybody else like shit that's on the outside of their job. And that's because they're not gaining any money from those individuals. And these type of people you just got to stay the fuck away from. But let's get down to it. I got the brother who said something here. Gems for Hems. This the Mad Max era you spoke about in blog talks. Okay, yeah, it could be. There's a possibility, but guess what? When I spoke about the possibility of Mad Max and all of that, that is related to like I said, the key word I said, possibility. It is also a probability. Why is it a probability? Is because it's mathematically set up. If certain decisions are made, then the country can fall into that type of position of a Mad Max. Do I personally now think that that's going to occur? No. Will I align with anybody who has that type of philosophy of, oh yeah, we're going to be living in deprivation, and where everything is going to be dystopian, and we're all going to be running around here in four-wheelers in the desert and shit and shooting shit up? No, you're a dumbass. No, that's not going to happen. There's too many marble floors on this planet. There's too many homes with elevators in it. There's too much beauty to appreciate than to hope for deprivation and garbage everywhere. Because, I could show you some locations on this planet that are filled with garbage everywhere, garbage in the water that they have to live on top of the water. They've created rafts and homes and all types of shit to live on top of the water, which shows that Americans, overall, we don't have one of the key elements in our mentality that allows growth. And that key element is appreciation. If you appreciate where you're at, then you wouldn't have those issues. Majority of people don't appreciate where they're at, so they want to try to drown out everything, and they want everything to be destroyed because they weren't involved in the construction of the beauty that they're witnessing, for number one. Therefore, you're not included when it comes to invitation or anything of that nature. Don't blame yourself, blame your parents. Your parents weren't involved, blame their parents. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have enough force to make these things, to put ourselves inside of a position for generational wealth and things of that nature. But that does not mean that you can't start today, with some form of legacy, with some form of product. And I've done that. You know what I'm saying? So and I want you to do that too. And there's a myriad of things that you can do it from. Don't think and nigga culture is the only culture. You have to advance that level of thinking and get out here and see what else is available. Okay. And then, we got the government shut down. Let's talk about it. The government shut down. Will it be shut down forever? Whose fault is it for the shutdown? It's definitely the Democrats. The Democrats will not sign any deal until the Republicans have agreed to give the Democrats all this money about turning, the indigenous natives in other countries into birds, into weirdos, and so it's clearly the Democrats. The smartest move the Republicans can make right now is to let the Democrats explain themselves to the American people on what you're doing with the tax dollars and why you want our tax dollars going to these weird countries with all of this crazy ass activity. If you could give us an explanation, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Was good. Was good with Heavy Lefty, So yeah, we'll see how stupid you sound and how stupid you look, the Democrats, out here requesting all of this sexual activity with our finances. You think you have the American people's brains burnt out, and you tried it in many different ways. You tried it with the vaccinations, you tried it with the chemicals in the food, you tried it with the chemtrails, you tried it with all of this shit. And you've been doing it for over 50, 60, 70 fucking years. And still, as a shit, we're all still here. They're still making rap songs. They're still slapping on the drum and dancing on the fire. And you haven't gotten rid of anybody. Trump wants to bomb the dope dealers bringing in the dope to the country. And, if you want to do that, do whatever you feel is necessary. But guess what? Dope will always be here, and shit, nigga, I didn't make it that way. Dope is always going to be here. If we're going to get technical about it, it grows out of the ground. Opium, the cocoa bean, the marijuana plant, the fucking the hops and the what is it? The what's the name for the beer, the wine, the berries for the wine. It goes on and on and on and on. All intoxicants come out of the earth. And so humans have always been intoxicated, whether it be the witch doctor, whether it be ceremonies for this specific god, whatever. Intoxication is going to roll. Whether you shoot up all the ships, it doesn't matter, bro. The best thing you could do is just go ahead and, probably tax it better or do something of that nature. You need to regulate it, because it's not going to go anywhere. Just like alcohol ain't went nowhere and you did the prohibition shit. Just like prostitution ain't went nowhere. And then that's always going to stay in place too. So, you can fight the evil and show the good effort, but that doesn't mean you're going to, obliterate or annihilate anything. And we need to stop selling that dream, But Trump, what you can do is go ahead and dissolve the Democrats, period, with that whole branch. You see, as the American people, we didn't vote for a president so we can watch 4 years of one party fight another. We're all Americans. We're all underneath the same flag. Let's stop with the dumb shit. The Democrats have lost within their position, and they're definitely embarrassing themselves with a lot of the demands that they're trying to make. It's written up in the laws, regardless of what's written up in the laws. Use the Republican power, use the muscle, use the elephant. Do you understand? And just squander these motherfuckers. You can erase the whole shit. If you want to go back to the king, the hierarchy, and all that shit, I don't give a fuck. Just let America evolve like we've been evolving. Put more money into our pockets and let things roll smooth like they've been. I do clearly understand. The government's need to. They feel as if they need to enforce a workforce. And yes, the American people have gotten lazy. They've gotten obese. But this isn't because that is the natural status. No, 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 no. It is clearly because of a lack of education in very important fields. When it comes to our schools, there's no more machine shop. There's no more swimming class. We need to standardize our school systems when it comes to a higher level of learning. And our country will do a lot better. Once we have people who are more historically educated and more scientifically educated, and also educated in the areas of law and medicine. And these areas have been pressurized into only learning from universities, which we have developed a system where only specific classes get to these universities. Once they get to these systems and they learn the industry, they exploit, the consumer who does not know. And there's a lot of things that as human beings, we all should know. And there's been a lot of stresses laid on top of adults that don't give them time to teach their children within these areas. So that's one reason, you can't come too hard with the whole picture of, trying to enforce people to work. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think the people in the ghetto have anything wrong with working. It's all about one thing. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about your industry, the foods you consume, you know, what car you want to drive. It's all based upon desire. Everybody, from the ghettos to the castles, you know, want to work in an area that they're desired to do so. And this gets tricky, because sometimes a lot of people realize the talent that they may have in one area, and then also see that it may be a high demand because they have said talent. And with that, comes a lot of responsibility and expectation for a person, and sometimes that weight on their shoulder, they will reject, the negative possibilities that could occur. So they just condense themselves down to, work in a rare job, and they, depreciate the value of their own talents. you know um that is a very real thing. But once again, um the response, or the social response that they're expecting, once again, was educated to them to respond in that way. I'm talking about the masses, because when we look at the masses, we're looking at a major problem. We saw how the masses just did Drake, the and that was really uh it really showed me the fakeness of people is really what that showed me. The fakeness of the fans of hip hop is what that really expressed to me about how Drake was treated with the whole situation of the beef with Kendrick. And everybody was bumping Drake for the past 10, 15 years, didn't have a problem. The nigga was over here making baby making music, and then out of nowhere, Kendrick Lamar exploited this black arrogance mentality of they not like us. And, everybody turned their back on Drake within an instant. That was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And it just really shows, it shows with what's happening with Trump. People thought that, oh, we could talk all of this shit about Trump, talk about his family, talk bad on his kids. We talk all this shit on Trump, and then you don't expect nobody to swing back at you. You know what I'm saying? What's good, family? Anthony over here. But you expect nobody to swing back. And see, when we look at what this mentality is, this is a very deep rooted American mentality because it comes from slave master to slave, which also this mentality comes from parent to child, where you can swing on somebody and tell somebody what to do and then not expect for them to swing back at you, and also for them to run up to you with a big smile, asking for things and pleading with you, and everybody wants to be some type of superior. Everybody in America is begging to be some type of boss over somebody else and to have the power of somebody's life in your hands. This is the American mentality. This is why managers want to be managers. This is why bosses want to be at the top. This is, the director, the producer. Everybody has this mentality of you don't do what I say. I have your life in the balance. I can alter and fuck up your whole life. And this is what a lot of people desire to do. They want to feel that power, and the reason why they want to feel that power is because they don't have a good sex life. If you feel the power that comes from having a good sex life and being in love with your woman, is superior to all little small endorphins in the brain of sending a fucking smiley face and sending a fucking thumbs up and wanting to destroy somebody's life or being super petty and trying to track somebody and all this other shit. People who have beauty around them and have a beautiful woman to wake up to in the morning and have had a good experience in their life with those areas, they don't have those mentalities. They don't operate like that. So it's inadequate motherfuckers who think like that and move like that. You know what I'm saying? And, sometimes it may go beyond that where, they were taught these things from their parents as a child. You got to watch that shit. The Ren and Stimpy generation have definitely taught their children that, oh, okay, it's okay to lie. You know what I'm saying? Or, and they'll do it indirectly. Somebody pick up the phone and be like, oh, no, I don't want to talk to them. Tell them I'm not here. Tell them. The son, a daughter or a father telling their children, they say, tell them I'm not here. Hang up the phone. You just told your children that it's okay to lie. You face your problems. And a lot of people can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's just the whole situation with this whole Trump thing. We're going to dissolve the Democrat Party because you're full of shit. We don't want our women obese running around here with purple hair and rings in their fucking nose and lip, thinking that they're supposed to be respected. And that's a whole nother conversation because it's definitely clear that professionalism, money, power is coming back. It's coming back to the American male and the one who is studious, the one who is dedicated, okay? The one who is just in his decision making. And with that comes the deflect. With that comes with those who are going to fall out. And you have made a lot of retarded decisions that have no result. So you made yourself obese and sick. A lot of the girls were running around here, oh, I'm fat this, fat that. Nobody wants your sick shit. Another layer is all the excess tattoos on the face and all this other shit. Nobody wants that shit. You will be denied when it comes to, what we expect for our future and what we have to do in order to maintain order. Order is what allows us to be safe, and order is what allows us to progress. And that's in all areas of study in science, and a lot of people aren't doing that, so you will be discarded of. Don't ever think that you can get out here and destroy yourself and try to change your title to I'm gonna be a them they, and I'm gonna be a goddamn a cat or a fucking dog or whatever the fuck you think you want to be, and expect for the world to automatically accept you with open arms. It never has worked like that, and it never will. Okay. um that's just what the litigation is. It'll never work like that. So stop with the dumbass, stop with the self-sabotage, stop with the bullshit. You think somebody's going to respect you? No, it's not. And for those who don't have a good psychological clarity on being able to judge character of individuals, and you will feel the wrath that comes from that individual, from that person. You got to have rules on who you kick it with. You know what I'm saying? You should never kick it with people. You got to watch out for people who hang out with individuals that are lower than them, because they're doing it so they can talk shit about that person and feel greater in front of the public, in front of other people, and they do that shit to make themselves feel like they're the king. I don't, I've never moved like that. I want somebody that's either on my same layer or, above my layer, so I can learn from them. Because usually what happens is that when you like nice things, and individuals who don't come from nice things, they come around you and they end up trying to steal your shit. And you got to watch out with the rats, because there's a lot of rats moving around, and there's a lot of, that's what's going on with the game, with the industry. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of hoeing going on. And ladies, if you have to fall into that trap, you better use it temporarily. You know what I'm saying? And you better do that shit and to advance your picture and to get out the game. But it's very dangerous for a lady, because the majority of women stay on their level, stay on the level that they are comfortable and that they understand. They're not usually going to advance. You know what I'm saying? And this is what goes to, we're gonna yeah, let me see here. We're gonna go to this one right here. Trump making a ballroom. He's balling. Yeah, Trump can make a ballroom right now, and I do believe that's going to send off a lot of electricity throughout the country. The whole element of what a club is probably going to change. Go back to some ballroom dancing and some classy shit. Um, but what is the need? I don't really, it's so crazy, because the whole entertainment space is just, I understand it. The artist is used to promote products, whether that any new area of advancement in technology is usually advertised through, artists, whether that be cell phones and ringtones, or whether that be, the new stage in the new theater, whether that be a new iPhone, whether that be new vehicles. The vehicles nowadays don't even have CD players in them, and it's crazy. So when you look at entertainment and you're going down here and say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go catch the show. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's me. And maybe it's me. Entertainment is just not a thing. It's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, I've shut the shit out years ago because it's very volatile. As you can see, I've been telling y'all for years. I've been telling you about all of these niggas, name by name, and everything that I stated came out specifically as, it was stated. Everything, you know, whether it be robots, whether it be zombies, whether it be, I talked about mad shit over the years. These individuals, the Puffy, the Kanye, all of this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is weird. And we witnessed a lot of weird shit in 2025. I'm so glad this fucking year is over, about to be. Here goes something from the homie Double Joint. He says Trump needs to make the working class great again, so he could donate and support more with the ones who need it. Yeah, I need it. I need the donations and support. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not fronting. Whether they say that the food stamps is gonna be cut off, I don't think so. I don't. Not for the real ones. Not for the respectful people. Not for the honorable. No, 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 no. Food stamps are not going to be cut off. For those who have been using food stamps, and for number one, it was stated that it was only illegal immigrants that their food stamps is going to get cut. I didn't see anything or hear anything about the American citizens getting their food stamps cut. I didn't get no message. I ain't get no text message. I didn't get no email stating anything. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, was the ballroom that Trump is building. Nah, I don't think so. It's going to be an electricity bee. We have to change up the element of what the club is, bro. The club nowadays, the women don't go to a club wearing dresses. They don't even wear skirts. Some of them wear. It depends on what class level you're going to, but man, by majority rule, the walls look like they're sweating in black clubs. I don't go to the club. I couldn't even tell you the last time I was at a club. And because my brain works on a hardcore logic. My brain works on a hardcore reasoning, and that system right there doesn't have too much logic that operates when it comes to finances. And me, because I got so much weight on my back with the responsibilities that I have to maintain in my everyday life, I don't have the room to be fucking around, going out here to clubs and jumping up in people's face, and and even if I did have the room, I don't have the room, you see, because I can't. I'm not a fake motherfucker, man. I don't go to a club and try to act like I'm super balling on a bitch when I'm not. I don't know how to do that fake shit, man. I really don't understand how other humans know how to do it. I don't look at acting in a movie as fake shit. That is actually a trained skill. Yeah, it's an extreme trained skill of being a liar. That is also true to a certain extent. But if we were to do a movie on the on the stories that are inside of mythology systems, that wouldn't necessarily be a lie. That would be acting out the persona. And so I look at acting in a theatrical format. I don't look at it as something that I need to do on my day to day in order to achieve success. I don't get it. It's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? If I can't, I wouldn't even want to build up no female into my picture on no lies, my nigga. Like I've never done that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that is. It's weird. It stinks. Your body produces a stench when you are such a fucking bullshitter and a liar like that. When you sweat and shit, you smell like fucking putrid fucking garbage fucking juice, and that's the reason why, is because you're filled up with so many lies and so much disorganizing, and your diet is so fucking chaotic that you begin to boil inside, and you look like the fucking you look like the swamp thing came out of is the bubbles pop over the oil and shit in the tar pit, and nasty motherfucker. And that's just what's going on. But Joe, so the government is going to get up, and I need the government to go ahead and dissolve the Democrat, because this is personally affecting me, which I just found out today. And I don't like this shit. So it's either we dissolve the Democrats completely, because we need not wait. What the fuck are we waiting for? Ain't you niggas warriors and knights and shit? Then be a knight and use your fucking sword like you was trained to do. Stick to your creed. And this is what we have to do. We have to either dissolve the entire Democratic government. I want it done now, or we're gonna have to come to some fucking conclusion. And that's just the reality to the shit. We're gonna have to come to some form of conclusion, or the Democrats are gonna have to be dissolved. You're doing a good job. Running over motherfuckers. We'll keep on running over them. Shit, I'll step on necks too, nigga. Remember this, nigga. Remember this. When a motherfucker don't act right, and you're not as educated as me, who's ever the most educated in the scenario and the most experienced is the superior. So, and that's what a lot of people don't like. That's why when women hear me talking, they just pew, yeah, bitch, because I'm way ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? So that means you come over here, it's going to fall order. The same when it comes to having a household. When women come see you have a household, it's like, oh, this nigga trying to make me a slave. Bitch, you gonna be a slave at your own shit? The fuck you talking about? You might as well have a good time, shit, nigga. And I'm not imposing no motherfucking slavery. It's just that we all have shit we gonna do, nigga. Ain't nobody treating you like no motherfucking princess, nigga. You watched your mama work. Your lazy ass is gonna work too. I don't know where the fuck you got this bullshit from. You better stay away, my nigga. Stay away from the dumb shit. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, so Trump, do that and do that now. I need my Fedioski. Push it through, man. Niggas got shit to do. You want me to entertain the planet? I'm gonna need a bag in order to do that shit because it's very obvious that my my fans or black people in general or those who have encountered my work really don't have the full psyche of understanding of what support is. Of course they have their own lives to support, so I'm not trying to take no food out of their babies' mouths. I want everybody to be strong around this motherfucker, but these are the rules, and they were like this before I was born. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, to the sports gambling, it's kind of crazy. I was going in on the sports gambling, now this whole shit collapse. But why wouldn't it collapse? Look, this is the whole thing when it comes to the sports gambling, and I'm gonna say this to you in the light of being a world historian, a human historian. Okay, I'll say this from the scholarly space. It is very clear that in today's age, and this syncs up with everything that I've been saying, sports gambling, what's going on with the government, what's going on with the mafia, as was mentioned right here, and the mafia being linked with the NBA. They didn't even mention any specific people from these families. They just named the families, you know what I'm saying? Because they gonna make you point the finger and lay all the energy on the black man devil, right? Black man devil doing all this shit, right? So like I stated, I'm saying this to you from the world historian perspective. I'm in my Harvard um um office right now with my feet up on the oak desk. Okay, this is what's being stated right now on this planet at this very moment, this very millisecond. This is the most criminal that the planet has ever been, including all races, both genders, because there's only two, male and female, including all industries. Come on with the bullshit, man. Get my video back up. Holy shit. Get my video back up with your dumb ass shit, man. My Wi-Fi is fine over here. It's fine. My Wi-Fi is hella strong over here. But the StreamYard want to play games. So just know that ain't me. I ain't over here janky or no shit. But as I was stating, the world is involved in more crime than has ever been documented. See, look at that. See, than has ever been documented. We're talking country to country, government to government. Okay, we're talking language to language. Okay, application to application. There's more crime going on this planet right now than has ever been witnessed on planet Earth. The only time period that could maybe battle what we're doing right now is that space in between the 1800s and the 1900s. It was getting down heavy. And that's why you don't hear nothing about the 1800s, 1900s, not the technicalities. You do not hear the details. In America, Victorian age, Wild Wild West, saloons, shootouts, bank robberies, prostitution, brothels. The whole shit was going down, and that's everywhere from New York to motherfucking Seattle. It's there in the books. Just go look it up. Okay. The sheriffs, everybody, lawyers, the kings. Come on, man, with the bullshit, man. Man, bro. Yeah. So the kings, the queens, the wars that's going on, all of that was going on in between the 1800s, 1900s. The East British Company, you know, King Leopold, the list goes on and on and on. So because I'm looking at it right now, but anyways, like the homie Double Joint said here, they can crack down on gambling, but not inside trading that keeps the rich rich. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what's going to happen because that's called natural law. I'm going to take care of mine. I don't have to take care. You have to take, and that's what he's ain't going to do. You got this big problem on who the boss is and who the boss this and who the boss that. You know what I'm saying? Keep on fucking with my feed, But that is the truth to the situation. White people can take care of white people however white people want to. They don't got to take care of you. There's nothing in existence that says they owe you something. We have the responsibility of taking care of each other. And if we're not going to figure that out and actually do that, then hey, what are we going to do? What is we going to do? What is we going to do is boss? Czar, you can't stop coming at Adam 22 because he interviewing losers who want to be losers and brag about losing, and people are attracted to the loser because they're not the loser. If y'all shooting each other up and y'all talking about murdering each other on the song, that's what y'all niggas is doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that shit. You want to promote all that death shit? Yeah, you can do it on my platform. Yeah, I'll get a million views and I'm gonna get more paid than you. That's your fault. It is your fault for not having an understanding of your environment. It's nobody else's fault. It's your fault. And there's a lot of things to understand about the environment. So you have to start young. This is just the truth to the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, this country was built out of criminal activity. The country was built off of human trafficking. If we're gonna get technical, the human trafficking, thieving, murder, rape, exploitation, espionage, all of the things are there, and it's been there since 1776, my nigga. It's not going to move now, so whether you male or female out here, the number one rule to the game is don't put no blood on the crime. As long as you don't put no blood on a crime, you probably 9 times out of 10 gonna get a slap on the wrist to keep it moving. Because, you know, A real criminal that needs to feed his family is only going to be worried about finances. He ain't going to be worried about all that dumbass. We going to shoot it up, and they do that shit for the movies to get the fucking retards hooked. This is the caveman. The caveman gets excited about sparks flying and shit blowing up. That's why they do the 4th of July, because they know you're a retard, and they know you need sparks flying and and hopping around the tree, booga booga booga, because you're a dumbass. You understand? I don't spend no money on no motherfucking firecrackers. I'm not wasting my money to burn some shit up so somebody can lose their fucking whole hand and arm. I don't give a for what, nigga. You see, I don't understand unnecessary activity. Every activity you commit has to have some type of gain or something that was beneficial from it at the end. And if you don't have that mentality, you already setting yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying? So never set yourself up for failure in this world, because there's no guarantee that somebody finna come down there and try to save your stupid shit. And that's just what it is. I don't know, man. You have to strip this safety net that you think you got. I don't think I got any safety net. You know what I'm saying? I've asked, see what I could do. I try to provide something, a provision or something, and move like that, move with some type of dignity or honor within my scenario. Not just be sticking out no hand expecting for another motherfucker to get to me. You know what I'm saying? I work for mine. And you can buy the work right now. Kickedoutofheaven.com, blackmansbible.com. You dig what I'm saying? Go there and get the weight, get the heavy weight, so you can understand how this environment operates. Because learning to reading those 3 books, the Kicked Out of Heaven, which is $33 right now. These 3 books will accelerate you past, a Harvard Yale level. It'll put you at that level of understanding, because Harvard and Yale was built during the medieval times. So that's only if you want to educate yourself and protect your scenario and your future better. A lot of people don't, and a lot of people don't see no power within doing that. So, woe to those who don't see the importance of intellect when this whole world around you is structured by it. This is no longer a time period where we're structured and reliant on trees directly, maybe indirectly, because we all still live in wood homes, but not directly. And hence you eating the fruit from the tree or the bark. So let's just deal with the fucking reality here. You have to be educated. These niggas have one up on you because this entire system, whether you go through India, China, Japan, whether you go to South Africa, whether you go to Nigeria, Sierra Leone, whether you go to Sao Paulo, fucking Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, whether you go to Argentina, Colombia, Venezuela, whether you go to Guatemala, Nicaragua, whether you go through the islands, Bahamas, Grenada, whether you go through Jamaica, whether you go through America, Texas, California, whether you go through Alaska, guess what you're dealing with? European culture. Okay? And Islam won't be able to overrule that. And the reason being is because Islam did not provide any inventions to the world. You see what I'm saying? Everybody uses the Christian inventions. Do you understand? So as long as you're using the refrigerator, as long as and don't get me wrong, I do know the mathematics of the early Islam that predates medieval time periods, where there are tons of inventions that was introduced to the world by Islamic culture and religion. But guess what? All of that has been squandered over time, and we didn't keep the appearance line that was attached to those inventions. You did not defend or fight for it. So it got erased through history. And a lot of these inventions now, the airplane, the helicopter, the surgery procedure, the hospital, and all of these things are now Western culture influenced across the entire planet. And as long as Western culture influences the entire planet, your religious status don't mean nothing, because you're still using our forks and spoons. You're still using our opticals, optometry. Okay, you're still using all the American shit. Your women want BBLs. We are the leader in what is considered to be beauty or sexy, and your women all across the planet want to look like the women that come out of America. So as long as we got got that hold, none of your religions and none of your other shit is gonna be influenced. And guess what? You motherfuckers ain't gonna be able to influence the rest of the world like Europeans do, because they've done it all the way to the mass hall, to the extreme, you see, and everybody's already hooked to those extremes. You see what I'm saying? So it's a very dangerous picture. You wasted your fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Ireland that's out there defending their land with the immigrants that's coming over there raping the kids and whatnot. And they over there bringing the dragon back. Bring the dragon back. Let's see what you got, old Europe. Let's see what you got. Bring the dragon on back, because um, there's a lot of retards on the planet right now who feel as if they're entitled to create all types of mayhem. And they feel as if they're entitled to assault and rape and pillage. And we don't know where this entitlement is coming from. Maybe it comes from their cultural dogma. Maybe it comes from their religion. We don't know. We don't care. The fact is that it's there, and that it's very offensive to those who are trying to protect their children from this type of chaos and assault. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, well, most people don't know what the white man had been through. Let's talk about what the double joint brother said right here. He says that's why my 3 volume Kicked Out of Heaven is needed, because most people don't know what the white man went through. Right. And you were only exposed to, and I'm glad you brought that up. Because yo, come back on shit, man. Meeting face to face and meeting people on the streets and acting in that social construct, and that is very good. What the brother said about not knowing what the white man went through, I had to expose what a lot of the social developments that occurred from a lot of sporadic events that was going down repetitiously, and the medieval times, so you can understand how he operates and compute things, which that is the culture that you're in right now. Hence we all speak English. Hence the majority of us have European centered names, and everything around us has saint this and saint that for our hospitals and the names of the streets. And there is a prior matrix that was already developed that you were basically shoved into and don't know the details of operation within that matrix system. And that's why the Kicked Out of Heaven is very important, for you to know the extreme darkness that can exist, the extreme darkness that has existed, and that the extreme darkness that the dragon can bring back to this planet at any given time. Never underestimate the events of history, and never underestimate the capability of those who hate you. Never underestimate, and when we go into the criminal sense, never underestimate the extremes somebody else will go to attempt to destroy you, or to stop you, or to discover you, or to snitch on you. You see what I'm saying? And be very fragile, be very gentle, because you don't know what will make somebody decide to make you their enemy, because that's the true scary space right there, is that a lot of people out here in this world, they decide to make you their enemy for whatever reason. You got to watch the jokes that you crack, or somebody that you thought was a homie and all. I just went through that shit, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, this year alone, I have been betrayed 3 major times, and I'm talking about major betrayal. Let me tell you something, man. On why I seem to be so relaxed with all of these crazy cataclysms that has been going on for the years is not only can I compute it and see the future scope of what the results are going to be, you know, but I observe systems from the outside and I understand how they operate, and you got to do that with your own life too, because your own life rolls in cycles. And bro, ever since I've been born, I have been betrayed by so many people, and that really didn't even have any merit to it. Some of them did, but the majority didn't. You know, I'll give credit where credit is due. And that's what I just think differently. And this year I've been betrayed by major individuals in my life, people that were extremely close to me. And did their betrayal play out? No. Did they fail? Yes, because I don't play those games. Anybody who comes at me with any type of trick bag or any type of overthinking in the mind and think they just gonna lash out at me, but you got it coming, my nigga. And it may not come immediately. And I don't put up. Come on. Yeah, so um yeah, I've had some major betrayals go down this year. I've had to put some people in check because of it. And then even when it comes to people that I meet that may watch my videos, they think they know me and we homies and shit. And motherfucker might come out his mouth slick. For what, bro? Now I gotta check this motherfucker. Now the whole energy in the room that altered and shit. Cause when I walk in the room, I control the space. I control the air. You best believe that. And I don't be meaning to do that shit, but I'm so used to the bullshit with people. I just keep the distance, my nigga. I'm very very used to it. B, not shocked. I just hunch my shoulders, keep it moving because what's so deep is that it's all psychological bullshit. That's what was so crazy. Is people think that they could come around you and put some type of rap on you and want to pull you here and make you angry. And I'm trying to get a rise out of you. Yeah, try to get a rise out of me and get knocked upside your shit. Now you got a rise. Now you happy. Now you done created some weird energy in between us, and I can never see you again because now you have created some weird shit and trying to get a rise out of what, nigga? Yeah, I'm saying, pass the blunt, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't get it, bro. And I'm not out here trying to promote like I'm some big mafioso nigga, some extra violent guy, because I ain't none of that. I'm a relaxed nigga. I write my songs, I write my books. I like a beautiful bitch to fuck on. You dig what I'm saying? To make some motherfucking money, man. That's it, bro. Why can't I just like my life simple, bro? I don't like my life complicated with all this extra gambling shit like these niggas was doing, and they got a high side with each other and throw all the money on the table, and the table record you niggas, and all you niggas get locked about some old dumbass shit because you trying to prove some shit to another nigga. I don't give a fuck about no another nigga. Like, what is you saying? Like, man, a lot of people get the game fucked up, man. Don't get the game fucked up. Just like the Super Bowl. They think they got the singing bunny finna come over there and Trump gonna shut that shit down. Y'all walking around with lines that you talked all that shit to do for what? You know, appreciate double joint for the for the donation. You know what I'm saying? Toss your donations over here. You know, and then expect no backlash, bro. There's gonna be backlash whenever you swing at somebody. Uh, Appreciate that. You still jamming the Onyx tablet. Appreciate that. It's funny you said that, man. I do got another album and another book in the works, but life has to get a little bit more. I deal with a hardcore stability. In the past 12 years, I've only lived in 2 houses in this city. I put that shit up as a Facebook post. Bet you can't steal this post. Nah, they can't, because majority of them niggas is running around from couch to couch and crying and shit. I ain't never seen so many motherfucking niggas that claim to be gangsters up here crying on the motherfucking camera every 5 seconds on the Instagram and the Facebook. Man, what type of niggas is these, man? That's why, bro, you will see me on the solo, nigga. It will be the solo. You dig what I'm saying? Yo, family. Yo, let me do this video real quick. I'm gonna hit you right back. All right. But yeah, see, business calls. You pick up every fucking phone call. I don't ignore shit. You know? But yeah, I wouldn't ignore you if you called. I pick up every line, man. You know what I'm saying? You never know what angel might be on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Or devil for that matter. You know what I'm saying? But either way, angels or devils, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool on both sides. You dig what I'm saying? But anyways, so yeah, what was we talking about? The Super Bowl situation. Trump gonna send ice on you niggas, man. You over here putting up the Latin bunny up here. For what, bro? Like, what is the fighting for? You want to fight over who? Mexicans want to march around with their flag? For what? March around with your shit over there with them cartels, my nigga. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Bro, it's so clear that Native people think so fucking ass backwards that's why they don't have any production when it comes to science. They don't have any facilities. They don't produce a lot of vehicles and a lot of other shit. The only motherfuckers that can catch up to cities in Africa. You got some cities in Brazil and over there in South, but that is not the totality like we got here in America. You got 2-3 major cities damn near in every single motherfucking state. Okay, in America, my nigga, that's all looking good. Whether that be a mountain scenery or whether that be a downtown skyscraper stock market street. You dig what I'm saying? America has that. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody over here doing it like we doing it. Happened in history. People need to understand, like the kicked out of heaven clearly proves that white people have hung more white people than they've ever hung black people. If you want to look at the numbers in history, white people have killed more white people than they have ever killed the black people. If you want to look at the numbers in history, look at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine right now. There's white folk killing white folk. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the whole Palestinian and Jew thing, it's like, yo, there's the olive skinned white boy going against the white boy Jew. Motherfucking white folks killing white folks. Ain't got shit to do with us, my nigga. And if you hear from if you were the first original man since the beginning of time, you should be old enough to where none of that shit is even bothering you. It's only 500 years space. You've been here for what, 100,000 years, and you complaining and crying about 500 years like a little bitch ass nigga. Man, bro, I don't see it. You dig what I'm saying? So stop using excuses. We need to go forward gung ho with a lot of the shit that's going on in the world right now. We need to stay on top of what's going on, and pay attention to our government, even though 9 times out of 10 with the bad decisions we made with supporting Kamala and the Biden and all that Democrat bullshit, the allowance of making decisions for the nation will no longer be available to the average common man, especially when the common man of America, women's consumption of alcohol has went up 85% in the past 20 years. You can't control your woman, so why would we leave any level of decision making pertaining to government in your hands? You have yet to show any intelligence towards the survival game. Your woman doesn't agree with you. Your woman is combative with you. Your woman is in agreement of the destruction of your race, as they all are doing at this current moment. You know what I'm saying? Uh, um, if you want to write this question again, go ahead. But we're gonna go ahead and approach it anyways. I think I know what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. The brother C.A. Bruin, and I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate everybody being here again. He asked, "What's happening with the men? I guess the young people shit, like not carrying credible credentials, but rather carry Apple Pay in their phones. This is very interesting, and the reason being is one thing is because they didn't see their fathers and how their fathers carried any level of finance. You know, I carry a wallet. I have all my cards and my ID and all of that shit in my wallet. I've never in my life have ever lost my wallet. My sons, they keep wallets. They keep their school ID, cash. They even have a little Cash App card and all of that in their wallet. They keep their wallet with them at all times. And they do that because they see me do that. So a lot of these kids doing this Apple Pay, Google Pay, they live in scam zone. You have to understand one thing that about the younger generation that we fail to realize. Our generation that came from a space where there was no technology fused inside our socialism like it is today, is that these kids have been oh, you're asking why are men carrying Apple Pay instead of credible credentials? Because a lot of people are in fear. That's where I was just about to go down that lane. My generation, put your car in your mama name, put your guns in your mama name, put your house in your mama name. It's a lot of inconsiderate, irresponsible, non-masculine activity when you do that. And you don't even attain the power of masculinity when you don't have your name on the lease and when you didn't sign up for the vehicle to get it off the car lot and all of this other shit. When you're doing all of this nigger timing, you don't get respect of the man. With the ideal of the quote masculinity or man in the Western world, unfortunately, is the white male. Okay. And the white male has been able to attain a level of finances that black people are just now figuring out existed. When we were younger, we didn't hear numbers of millions and billions. We didn't see Bugattis and Bentleys and all that other shit. These young kids are. One thing you have to understand about the young generation and what they're growing up in is that they're being lied to immediately as they're born, you know, because they can hear it as soon as they get in the car, as soon as they hear the radio, as soon as they hear whatever favorite song mama likes or whatever the case. It's just like I saw a meme where somebody said, yeah, rappers be taking so yo, let my shit come back on. Is it because they be up in there lying? They be up in there in the studio so long all day because they're in there lying. Yeah. If you weren't lying, it wouldn't take you that long to make an album or to make a good song. I don't have to lie on my tracks, so I make good music. You know what I'm saying? People can feel the soul of my music. Not and people can feel the soul of my music like me and the producer sat in the lab together, and that wasn't even the case. You know what I'm saying? So um the younger kids are growing up with all these commercials. They're being told all this stupid shit on the radio. Yeah, for free 99. If you call now, we can da 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 da. And all that stupid shit. But you just wait. What's that other one I was thinking of? Give us a call, all of that shit. Oh, the burgers look like flags and have fun. And then the fucking Ferris wheel fall apart while you want it. Watch your grandma hit the ground and shit. You see what I'm saying? Like these children are being excessively lied to with advertisements. Their mind is excessively bombarded with, oh, get the free trial in 7 days, and then you forget about the trial. Then your card is getting hit for 3, 4, 5 months because you didn't forgot to cut this shit off. Every time you get a reminder, you tell yourself to cut this shit off, but then you end up go doing something else and your account getting drained. These little kids are watching all of that. They're watching mama disappear for 2-3 days. They're watching nobody come home. They're watching the excessive fast food diet. Somebody's always bringing some food to the house. There's so much dependency on restaurants that I wouldn't even be surprised in a couple of years that they start creating homes with just a kitchen and no stove in the motherfucker. Okay? There's no stove in the motherfucker because motherfucker ain't cooking. Motherfucker get something on the road, come home. You don't know who done cooked that shit. You don't know how many roach legs is in that shit. You don't know if that restaurant just got USDA approved. USDA approved allows what an ounce of rat shit for every 20 pounds of meat. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And so there's no love in the food. You don't know who made the food. I watched a clip the other day. This motherfucker said, yeah, this is me over here at the wing stop making motherfucking wings while they got AIDS, nigga. They got AIDS. They HIV positive, but they up in the fast food restaurant making your motherfucking shit. And this nigga over here sweating and shit. All of this shit, man, is too much shit. You dig what I'm saying? And the little kids are growing up seeing all of this shit, and they're looking at everything as a scam. Everything is a scam. The only motherfuckers who really didn't get scammed are our parents who got grandfathered into the system. They were able to retire. They were able to keep their pension. They were able to pay off their house. And there's not no other generation that has been able to do that. Not even the ones prior to them. A lot of them slaves wasn't able to pay off their house. A lot of them slaves got inheritances from their slave masters and things of that nature. But at that time, it was just open land. Right now, the shit got a mall sitting on top of it. You dig what I'm saying? And they could be getting big money on the rent. But then other white motherfuckers came through during the 1930s and 40s and tricked them out of their motherfucking shit. There's a lot of people that got tricked out of their shit. There's a lot of inheritance that have been passed down to through black people. And the grandchildren sold the fucking land off because they didn't know what to do with it. And they just wanted the motherfucking money. There's arguments going on, deeds and shit that then got erased or then burnt up in a house fire, or when got wet and destroyed through a flood or something. The water heater blew up in the basement. It's all types of stories. It's all types of situations that has occurred. You dig what I'm saying? But it's very clear that our children's minds are being bombarded with advertising and marketing. And so they have written off what anybody says about anything because the advertising and the marketing that hooked them, they dug into it and found out that the motherfucker was a lie, that shit was a lie. Okay? Or the shit was promoting something that they weren't able to do. It was false advertisement going. Or how many people have they looked at growing up, during this time period, and they see all these individuals on TV, all of these stars getting locked up about some pussy. This shit affects the kids. All these stars overdosing and shit. All these TikTok stars and YouTube stars overdosing and shit. How do you think that affects these little kids, man? These little kids are not trusting anything out of anybody's mouth, and you don't know what you're talking about. Like right now, your child, my child, will write you off because they know what to do with all this secrecy bullshit inside these apps, and you don't. You see what I'm saying? Like right now, the younger generation, they thrive on communicating through Instagram. And they do it through false accounts or empty accounts. They'll just make an account with no picture on there, and they only use it for messaging to other people. They won't even have any friends or followers listed up there. It'll be 000. But they'll have a whole list of people that they talk to directly, though, in their message side. So you got to watch out for this shit, man. They're moving on a scale, and they will look at you like you're the old fogey who don't know a goddamn thing because they know all this stupid shit in these fucking phones. They've been lied to. You dig what I'm saying? So, and we're lying to them and telling them it's okay to lie. So the children are coming up looking at everything as a scam, and that's why they create these pranks that they do in the grocery store, or pranks that they do in the hood. A nigga wearing all red bandanas will walk up in the crib hood, be like, "Yo, where's the grocery store? And trying to prove that what they've been educated on is a false. hood. Like, you niggas really ain't tough. It's all bull. And then I could just say, oh, it's a video, it's a prank, and that's supposed to tone down all energy. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But the whole thing is that what they see that hasn't been thoroughly disproven through what's on television or what's on the apps or their videos or whatever, they'll try to disprove it in reality and then get fucked up because their mind hasn't perceived anything as a reality because their brain has been bombarded with the freedoms of Hollywood. So why do we say freedoms of Hollywood is because, you watching these movies, you watch Born Supremacy, and you see the white man shooting up everything across the planet. Ain't nobody getting locked up. Ain't no court procedure. Ain't no nothing. You get the girl at the end of the day. There's no jail. There's no DA. There's paying no lawyer. There's no none of this shit. And all of that shit is a reality in this world, in this zone. It is a reality. You know what I'm saying? But you don't look at all those details as no reality because you're just looking at the hype of the television, the hype of the movie. You know what I'm saying? And that's what gets your brain double, triple layered, and you out here getting fucked up. So Double Joint says here, if we have a technological reset to bring out cryptocurrency and UFO technology, the wallet will be obsolete, not by choice but by force. A little too old, saw ourselves as rich and famous. Now this is a funny statement. The brother C.A. Brewer says, I'm a little too old. I saw Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous Dynasty. That was like X-Files to me. Alien and how that type of money was obtained. Exactly. I was talking to my homie about that the other day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll talk about that too. But I was talking about that the other day. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I just wrote that shit off as not real TV prop shit. Because I was already taught on how theater operates. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they show you on the movie, take you to the green room and show you how they do all this fake shit. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really look at Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous as real. When Master P came out with all the gold and all the fake shit on the covers of the albums, I wasn't fucking with that shit. I thought all that shit was fake. I thought it was unattainable, when it comes to some street money, but I never stayed in a concentrated area. So when I was young, I was always moving around. You know what I'm saying? And then same with Cash Money. I didn't really fuck with them too hard at first because all of that bling shit. I wasn't believing that shit. Believing none of that shit with no street money. Till I met a homie. And he had a band sitting on some 24s and had TVs in every room and all this other shit. And I said, oh, no, I got to, and he was like, nigga, I get this shit off the streets. So I said, nigga, I'm finna get it off the streets too. You dig what I'm saying? And that's when I fell into the PI. You dig what I'm saying? And I was doing that. I was running the PI game before I ever met a real PI. You dig what I'm saying? So you can always educate yourself about an industry and get the money rolling out of that industry without dealing with the superiors in that industry. You dig what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, if you operate in that fashion, they're gonna knight you anyways. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, we got to stop lying to the babies. But it's gonna be hard not to. Everybody's gonna market their product and slam their marketing and their commercial all up in your face. And expect you to buy. You have to buy. And that's why they want to get rid of men, because men are going to buy what they need and not necessarily what they want. The man that goes for what they want is, and they don't have all their needs already covered, is irresponsible. That's not a man, and that's just the truth to it. You dig what I'm saying? That's not a man. Don't ever operate in that fashion. Always make sure that you have your needs covered before you think you can go get toys and wants and shit. Don't have a mentality of out here bragging in front of people who are doing nothing and have nothing. Like, stop looking for somebody to be your slave or to be your bitch somewhere. Like, dog, I don't know. I don't have that. I don't know, bro. I look at all that shit as immature, very immature. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if y'all got some more questions, bring them up here. Let's see what you got. And like I stated, hopefully this new album and this new book gonna come. I really do want it to crack, but there's got to be a lot of other things in place. I'm not even gonna sit here and trip. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to myself that I can make things happen, make this happen, make that happen, and I don't got all my ducks in a row. And that's just what it is. And you should be operating the same way. I don't know. You operate however the fuck you want to operate. You know. Check yourself with the Chat GPT for sure. Because one thing you could do, well, I ain't even gonna tell you that. Matter of fact, if you want your mathematics, you get at me, and I could give you your whole personal mathematics on everything you should be doing right now, the luckiest days in your calendar, and what's gonna be available for you in the future, all of that type of shit. You go to KeenanBooker.com, you can buy all of those lessons right there. Get at me. We can do some what we need is a more personalized, customized building of ourselves. So you want to know yourself on a more unique, personalized level, then you holler at me, because nobody else can provide those services. Just like nobody else can write these books. Just like nobody else can put out the slappers that I put out, nigga. This is the one man shop right here. And then go to millenniumdvds.com right now. Right now, I got a deal. 75 DVDs for $200. Okay. You get 75 DVDs for $200. Okay. And that's what you want to do. You can still play them all on the PlayStation and the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 6. I heard some nasty news about the PlayStation 6. It's very obvious that they're trying to do a lot of extra unnecessary spying and observation type shit through the GTA 6. There's no way in hell it should take this long to put out a goddamn video game. No way. And so what they're doing is they're trying to do some spying shit through the module and through the game. Because like they said, they're going to be releasing the game with the new PS6, and they ain't said nothing about no other games for the PS6. They're just saying, "Oh, we're gonna put GTA 6 out with the new PS6." Nigga, you're full of shit. You're trying to enforce the buy, and then at the same time, you're trying to make everybody a motherfucking, a sheep or a lab rat or some fucking laboratory frog to be worked on and to be observed and shit through your fuck ass video game. That shit is not necessary, my nigga. So be very careful of that GTA 6, because the smartest thing you could have did was link the Bitcoin monetary system to it. That was a real valid system if you wanted to enforce your sales. You didn't have to do all this fucking everybody has a personalized this and a personalized that. They're trying to build the matrix right in front of you through a fucking video game. A video game I used to play way back in the day from aerial view. I used to just get in the tank and just fuck shit up, and that's basically what I still do to this day. I don't really play that game, but if I need to get some headshots every now and again, I'll get some headshots. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what the method is. Yo, y'all got any questions? Y'all hit the Cash App, man. So keep me alive. I'll keep you alive. I'll definitely be back here again, most likely tomorrow. We're gonna see. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. I wanted y'all to stay up to date. So at the end of the day, they're either gonna dissolve Democrats get dissolved or not. Republicans rule, and it might merge into a king situation, regardless if it does or if it doesn't. Trump, I need you to get the government back together. I'm very big. I have money on the line with this situation, and I was just forewarned about that. So I want the money. You understand me? We got people to feed. We got things to do. We have a world to entertain. Yeah, and I will jump into that space, and do it for the people, because we keep so what? What do we keep? The foot up a bitch's ass. You understand, nigga? That's what we do. That's what we do up in this motherfucker. You dig what I'm saying? All the pretty ladies, they want to wear aprons. They want to wear high heels. They want to make the sandwich again. So let's go ahead and enforce that. And let's go, and we're going to enforce it by giving the men the money, and give the men the money, because like I know, that big money is going to break a motherfucker and really show the true character of an individual. So if motherfuckers, this is what you do. You give everybody big money, because guess what the addicts are going to do? The addicts are going to take the money and they're gonna go get high until they overdose. And that's what you wanted. You want the addicts out of the way, right? So let them get out the way. Let them destroy themselves because they're a fucking dumbass. Get them out the fucking way. This is what you do for yourself. No, there's nobody on this planet has to intervene with the self-sabotage that you do to yourself. So let them do it. Put the liquor for 24 hours a day, give everybody $1 million, and we'll see what happens. And what's going to happen is that the majority of people are going to run towards their vices because they have no real street experience. So they don't understand the spirituality that stands behind vices that can destroy you. So let them go ahead and open up the liquor, 24-hour liquor for the whole nation. Let them clean up. That's going to be the war on drugs, because all these motherfuckers with $1 million in their pocket is going to go out here and get high and get high and get high till they can't get high no more. And they're going to collapse, and we have to clean up the bodies. You know what I'm saying? And then people who are worried about their future, they're going to take that money and they're going to invest inside corporations, and they're going to invest inside technology and other things that is going to assist within the society and assist their health. You're giving that money to the farmers. The farmers are going to be able to get their shit back together and get new equipment. They're going to be able to, grow better foods and whatnot and do all of that shit. And the people with medical issues are going to be able to pay off bills or get their surgeries done or whatever the case it is. And that's what you need to do. Just give everybody $1 million and let it run, because the majority of people are going to destroy themselves anyway, is what me and you both know, because that's what the numbers say. Go look at the CDC statistics and we'll see. And that's what you're going to see. The majority of the people are going to self-implode, and the rest of them who want a better existence and want to create heaven out of earth will do that with the money that they have, and they're going to make sure that they never get into the areas of poverty. And even those who are in poverty, give them $1 million too, and then they'll be able to show how deep psychology really is and how important it is, because the majority of those people who are homeless are going to receive their $1 million. They're going to go get high, and they're still going to go. Some of them might buy a home, and they're still going to end up smearing shit all on the walls. You know what I'm saying? Because they're insane, and that's their psychological status, and they want to stay in that area. And that's what people need to understand about these type of situations, is that, unfortunately, some children are beat, or some people are traumatized into a point where they can no longer see straight, and they no longer have a mental clarity, and they default into an area of homelessness. And that's very unfortunate, but it does occur. And it's enforced. It's enforced by their parents and whatever traumatic experiences that they had during the course of their upbringing. Can people break out of that? Very, very, very slim chance that they do. Okay. And this is the reality of the situation. Okay. There are some people who have lived very prestigious lives and come from very rich backgrounds. They went to school and everything, and they went to the job, and they just collapsed one day. Their psyche just collapsed from all the stress, from all the stress that people have been through, that person had been through, during the course of their life. And especially the way men are treated. We're expected to have all of this finance. We're expected to do all of these great things. And then we're also expected to take everybody's abuse. And then we're also expected to take everybody's belittlement. And we're also expected to run after and fix everybody's problems, women, children, and even other homies. And even your woman's friends, you're expected to handle all these situations and be the magical motherfucker, and the bitch ain't doing shit but sitting there tapping her goddamn foot. And that's all based off of imagery that you allowed to sink in your head through the media. Because at the end of the day, everybody watching this video right now, you watched your fucking mammy work. Your mammy went to the job. Your mammy came home and paid bills. Whether she was with a husband or not, she worked. Because working is respectful for our environment. Why is it respectful? Because all beings do it. The ants work, the fish work, the eagle works. They build the nest high in the mountain. Do you understand, motherfucker? Everything works. Okay, the plants have to work to get to the sun rays. If there are trees that are taller than it, it will vine itself around the base of a tree to reach for the sun to get sunlight, because it has to struggle for sunlight, because there are other trees that have leaves in the way of its sunlight. You have to work. Everything here works. And bitch, you gonna work too. Whether you working by pumping out kids, or cooking pumpkin pies, or motherfucking pulling a turkey out the oven, or your ass is over here in the motherfucking call center, or you up in the office, you gonna work too. So shut the fuck up and enjoy the motherfucking work. Because everybody got to work. That's just the reality, nigga. Okay? Okay? Shit, nigga. I don't know what the fuck people done thought. You know? For real. So this is just the reality, you know. Stop trying to dodge the bullshit. And one thing I know, people need to understand: you have to have your headquarters. Your headquarters is very important. If you have to move year after year after year, lease after lease after lease after lease, you do not comprehend the importance of headquarters. Let me show you something that's very important that I saw on the interview with NBA YoungBoy. It was only a little clip from $1 Million a Game. They said the nigga is using the same microphone that he bought from Guitar Center and the same laptop. That's called headquarters. And he has produced all of this magical work, 20 some odd albums from the same microphone and the same fucking MacBook. You see? That's called the consistency. That's called the buildup. That's called the power. That's called the headquarters, being the center, being your operating center, and where you can hone all the energy and output. And shit, that's the same with me. All my albums were recorded on the same microphone in a motherfucking closet, nigga, off the same motherfucking software. You dig what I'm saying? But my next album won't. The next album will definitely be 1,000% professional, and the next album will definitely squander and make all of these rappers in the rap game look like shit pie, because that's what everybody wants to do, is make everybody else look like shit. So but the next album will definitely do that. I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't nobody fucking around with this next album, bro. It's gonna be very embarrassing for a lot of people that I was able to put out all these albums that sound highly professional and very clean and clear and crisp. And I didn't need none of your fuck ass labels and none of your fucking weird ass dick in the booty ass shit you niggas got going on. And it's very clear that that's what's going on. It's all over the news. You know what I'm saying? Fucking weird ass niggas. You know. So yeah. Y'all go over here to the kickedoutofheaven.com, cop the books right now. They're flying off the shelf. And then once these books that are in color are sold, you'll never get them again. I'll tell you that shit. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up before I left. Working for survival is different, but the rat race is where most lose. Let me tell you something. Working for survival is the only reason of working. That's what we're all working for. And I'm double joint. Understand, I'm not trying to correct your statement. All right. Working for survival is the key thing. That's what we're all doing. That's what the ants do. That's what the beavers do. That's what the alligators doing. You see what I'm saying? We all have to work. We all have to hide. We all have to camouflage. We all have to attack. Attack, attack, attack. Never admit defeat, And that's where we're at. And that's what survival is. We will all have to work for survival. But what is survival? Survival is being able to reproduce and having a safety position when you're able to do that. And that's what comes down to courting. And courting, unfortunately, in the animal realm, there is a nurturing, but we don't know the totality of their socialism to say if they have a concept of love. In our Western world and in the human dimension, we do have a concept of love. The concept of love is the mysterious energy that brings up the butterflies and connects two people so they can survive and work with each other for the element of survival to be against the elements of nature. Okay. And that means, weather conditions, natural disasters, attacks from animals, diseases that may occur, attacks from insects, pests and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So that's what love is. Love is the invisible element that all humans have, and they come on different variations pertaining to what you witnessed as a child to be expressed as love from your parents. And some kids, especially these next generation motherfuckers, have never experienced their parents or never witnessed their parents or their mother express any form of love to anybody. What she did see was some dude come in, they laughed a little bit, and the door slammed, and then the bed springs are going off. That's what some of these kids have witnessed. They did not witness their, kissing and holding and all of that. Just like my son fell out with a girl that was his girlfriend because he said he loved her, and I was like, nah, you don't say that too early. I was like, yo, what made you say that? It was like, because I thought that's what you do, and that's what he seen me and my shorty was doing in front of him all the time. You see what I'm saying? So he thought, he could do that with a girl. And the girl sort of didn't know how to feel about that because in her household, it may not be the same type of expression or freedom going on, you know? So who knows? I don't know. We all live and learn, but at the end of the day, that's what love is. It's for the survival of man and woman together. Woman wants to survive without man and expect for man to be some type of slave for used cunt. A woman will go out here and have, babies with a loser and then expect for a winner to raise loser babies. Why would I want to be raising a loser fucking babies? You know what I'm saying? And then there's this whole false attachment zone in there, but that's also a problem because, even when it comes to the human trafficking and all the sexual assault shit that's going on out here in the world, the number one culprit for that shit is the step parent, statistically. So any woman that's out here that's not with her original baby father, she's already in a space of trying to invite, some type of weird sexual shit going on in their house coming from the man that they was supposedly dating with, because that's the number one culprit to commit these type of activities. So then at the same time, who's keeping this engine going of the bullshit? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. If you're having problems, if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems and a bitch ain't one. Hit me. Woo. Sheesh. That is a hell of a statement right there. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, they say the most single group is the middle class. 85% of the middle class is single men with their own home, with their own taxes, and with their own shit, and ain't allowing no lying ass conniving to be up in there. Yeah, I'm gonna have an open line on the show soon. I'm glad you asked about that. I will have an open line on the show, but please don't think that when I do have an open line that you can just call in and we can be kicking it on the phone. No, it ain't no shit like that. And I already look at that as a psychological issue because I've had my number out there for years. So if anybody wanted to hit me, you hit me. Money is conducted in private. Real relationships are developed inside of privacy. They're not developed in no expose. They're not developed in the theater. They're not developed on stage. That what unifies two people in the areas of relationship is usually secrets. And secrets can also end up being the reason why you all split up. But one thing I understand about the whole friend development and developing relationships is that your enemies were at once your best friends is usually how it works. Unfortunately, so we see it all throughout history. The wife is against the king, the wife is against the father and the son wants to kill the father to get him out the way. The mother hates the daughter, want to get them out the way. The brother hates the cousin, they want to go to war and kill each other, you know what I'm saying, over whatever jealousy or whatever bullshit they used as an excuse to do so. So Yeah. But when I do open up the line, y'all just call in, state what you want to state, have your question, and then we're going to keep it moving. But I will go ahead and, since you asked, I will go ahead and revive that whole situation, do a little bit more research to see how I can have it a lot more concrete than what happened last time. So um, yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Let me see here. So yeah. But yeah, I was just reading some comments. If anybody got something they want to say, go ahead and drop something up in that Cash App. And you keep me alive, I keep you alive is how it goes. We need to keep a higher level of consistency here because it's obvious I'm the last man standing. Everybody else is on their repetitious bullshit and hasn't provided one product for you yet. They haven't provided one thing that you could call your own and be happy about it. Only I did, on several different levels, not only with the Millennium DVDs, but with the books as well. You know what I'm saying? So let's deal with some reality and, give some credit where credit is due. You know, women act out because the state looks out for them. I don't deal with no women that are supported by the state. I can't deal with that class of women. Class of woman is nowhere near me, so I can't even relate to that statement or anything. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't deal with self-sabotaging women. I'm not gonna be dealing with no motherfucking obese rats. You know, would I ever do a show with Andrew Tate if the chance given? No, I wouldn't. You know, um, I would not. And just the same reason why I didn't do a show with Brother Polite. Just the same reason why I wouldn't do a show with a lot of these niggas because of guilty by association. Yeah, see, look, because I come up here and I teach and whatnot, or I'm selling my books and whatnot. I guess people don't know how to perceive that level, but this is good fella level, my nigga. Like I've done a lot of crazy shit in the streets, my nigga. Read about it in the Black Man's Bible. And then I've done a lot of crazy